Hi guys, my name is Miss Nikki. I am from Preuss Pets in Lansing. Now, I really wish that I could visit you like I do every year, but because of coronavirus, I can't this year. Instead, I would love to do a little video for you and show you some of my special friends. And some of my friends I haven't been able to bring to you before, so it's going to be super awesome. Thanks so much. Alright, so this is my friend Persephone. She's a jungle carpet python, and they come from Australia. Now, can you see her pretty smile? She's got some heat pits in her face that help her tell temperature. And she would love to be up in the trees and grab birds right out of the air. She'll also eat frogs and lizards and stuff like that. So we call her an opportunistic predator. She's about 8 years old, but they can live around 20 years. And did you guys know that snakes don't have eyelids? They can't blink their eyes or sleep with their eyes closed, so she holds her eyes open all the time, even sleeps with her eyes open. She also doesn't have external ears. So she doesn't hear the way we do, instead she feels vibrations. She can feel the vibrations of my voice when I'm holding her, but when I put her back in her home here, she mostly feels like footsteps and doors opening and closing, stuff like that. Isn't she just beautiful though? Look how pretty she is. Do you guys know why she sticks out her tongue? She's smelling. They have a special organ on the roof of their mouth that helps them smell the air and almost taste the air with their tongue. Yeah, she's a good girl. She's pretty long. Can you see how long she is? Look at that. And she's got a really, really strong tail. She can pull herself up by her tail, which is basically like us doing a pull-up with just our pinky. Pretty awesome. So this is my friend, the wood turtle. He's pretty young still. Look at how he's hiding in his shell. Now he was born with his shell and it grows with him as he grows. Their shell is made of the same stuff as our fingernails. So it makes a nice little protective armor for him. If he gets nervous, he can hide in there just like he's doing right now. Now, wood turtles are omnivores. Omnivore means he likes to eat both fruits and veggies and plants like us, and also meat, so a lot like what we eat. He loves snails and worms and fish. He would love wildflowers and other kinds of vegetables he'd find growing. He's pretty cute. Now these guys are kind of aquatic. They swim sometimes, but they also live on the land a lot. I have a couple other turtles to show you as well. So I'll put him back in the water where he was happy. Now over here, I have some red ear sliders. Let's see if we can see them. Look at their feet. They have very webbed feet for swimming. And they were once just as tiny as that little wood turtle, but look at how much they've grown. Let's see if we can get one out. Ooh, he's splashing me. Look at how cute he is. Now these guys have pretty flat shells so that it can make them very, very fast in the water. Look at his little kicking feet. He would love to just go for a swim. These guys are also omnivores. They like aquatic plants. So when I give them veggies, I like to kind of suction cup them to the bottom so that they move in the water like an aquatic plant would. And I also love to feed them. They have fish swimming around in there. Here he goes. And then I have another special friend here. This is my buddy Fred. Now Fred is a South American red-footed tortoise. So he looks a little different than the other guys. See how his shell is rounded like this? That helps him if he gets flipped over. He can rock back and forth to get himself right. And then look at how different his feet are. They're not webbed like that last guy. He lives mostly on the land. So these good feet are really good for digging in the dirt. In the wild, they would dig burrows and they would actually hibernate. Now he was once just as small as that other turtle as well, but he is about 78 years old, so he's a pretty good size now. Now that's only about middle-aged for him. He could live to be about 150. And he is one of my best friends. He goes all over the place with me and loves to be a nice ambassador for his kind. When thinking about getting a pet, you want to think about how long that pet's going to live. This might not be the best pet for everybody because they live so long. 150 years, can you imagine? But he's really lucky living here because we all love him. So I have something really cool here. These are poison dart frogs. And we actually breed poison dart frogs here, so they have their babies here. They'll lay their eggs, and when we find the egg has hatched, can you see that little tiny baby? It's a tiny little tadpole. Now in the wild, the daddy would actually sing to the mommy frog to win her heart, and then he would take care of the egg until it hatched. And when it hatched, he would go and let the frog swim up his back, and he would find a nice little pool of water and a plant to put the baby in. Eventually the baby would grow, and this one is getting tiny, tiny little legs growing in the back. Eventually, you can kind of see the little elbows starting to poke out of that one, getting his little front legs. When his front legs pop out, then it's time to go in a container like this. And I usually set it on its side so that when he's ready, he can crawl right out of the water. Well, let's see if we can show you this guy swimming around. He's got his legs, he's starting to get colorful. Now during this point, their mouth is actually changing. They have like a little sucker mouth, more like a fish when they're in this form, so they can eat the little pellets I give them. But their mouth is changing so that they can start eating bugs. So during this time, they don't really eat. Instead, they're absorbing the energy from their tail in order to keep growing. And when they crawl out of the water, then I put them in a little nursery like this. They'll eat tiny, tiny little bugs at this age. This one is a really pretty orange cherry bliss. And then I also have a really pretty little mint cherry bliss over here. And I'm going to show you what that one grows up to look like in a second. So those are like tiny little kid frogs. And And then we got kind of the teenager frog here. Now he's gonna get a lot bigger still. But you can kind of see how that color is so pretty. They're really minty, almost look metallic. Now in the wild, those colors mean danger. Don't come near me. In the wild, these frogs are very, very, very poisonous or venomous. If I touched one, I would only make it about 5 steps. I would not make it very far at all. But in captivity, they don't eat what gives them their poison. They're eating a bug that eats a plant that has a poisonous microorganism on it out in the wild, and that's how they get their poison. So here, we just feed them little tiny fruit flies and crickets, and they don't even know that they're not poisonous. But they're safe to me. I still don't touch them though, because all of the stuff on my hands, all the minerals, would get right into their skin and eventually make them sick. So instead, I use little deli containers to move them around, or nice wet hands if it's an emergency. But most of the time, I just watch them. All right, want to see what the adults look like? Right over here. These are the parents. Nice chunky adults. Awesome. All right, so this is my friend Voltaire. Voltaire is a frilled lizard. So he has these magnificent frills. When he gets scared, he'll open them up, and they often also open their mouths and hiss at you, and then they can run away really fast on their hind legs. This type is from New Guinea, and he's a little bit smaller type. He's arboreal, so he really wants to sit on my head right now, where he can see everything and feel nice and safe. Yeah, you're gonna jump, aren't you? There's also a kind in Australia that get quite a bit bigger. Do you like my hat? He hardly ever frills at us anymore because he's not really scared. But when he eats, they kind of flap, so it's cute. He is an omnivore as well, but he really likes his bugs. He mostly eats crickets and roaches and like hornworms. That's a nice little treat for him. He's about 4 years old, and we know them to live about 10 to 12 years usually. He's diurnal, which means he's active during the day, like us. He also loves UV radiation, UVA and UVB. That helps him digest his food and make it good for his body, kind of like plants. So we have really special lights on his enclosure here. Those lights are only on during the day, because otherwise it would make him feel kind of crazy for it to be on all the time. And he also has a heat lamp up there that's on all the time. But in the wild, they can handle it being really hot during the day and then cooling off quite a bit at night. Alright, this is my buddy Dandy. Dandy is a blue-tongued skink. He'll stick out his tongue for us. Look at that. It's bright blue. Now they use that to scare off other bigger predators. They'll open up their mouth and stick out their tongue, and it kind of looks scary. They also have some really sweet ears. You see those ears? They're different from our ears, but he can hear me talking really well. And he can squeeze them shut so he can go underground and not get dirt in his ears. He's got these tiny little legs, but he can move pretty fast when he wants to. He does a lot of digging. He's an omnivore as well. He really likes his fruit. He loves berries like strawberries and raspberries. And he also eats these little sausages called reptilinks. And they have both veggie, fruit, and meat in them. I always say you are what you eat. And doesn't he kind of look like a sausage with legs? Look at him. Now, when I first got Dandy, he was not very used to being handled. But it just took some patience and sitting around with him, and he hardly even hisses at me anymore. He was just nervous. He didn't know what I was going to do. But I showed him that we are friends. Hey, bud. And now he's really nice. Yeah. He likes a pretty humid environment. Keep it pretty wet in there, and he likes to burrow down. He really likes to live under this log. He loves to go swimming in his little water dish once in a while. And then he's not the best hunter, so I often put his worms and stuff in a little cup so he knows where to go looking for them. Hey, Dandy. All right, you ready to go, buddy? Here you go. All right, this is my buddy Riddle. Now, Riddle looks a lot like another snake, but guess what? He is not. He is actually a lizard. Now, you might say, like, what makes him a lizard? He doesn't even have legs. But it doesn't just take legs, having no legs, to be a snake. Remember how I said snakes don't have any eyelids? He's got little eyelids. He blinks his eyes. He sleeps with his eyes closed. And he's got little tiny ear holes as well. Now he can pinch his ears shut so that he can go underground and not get dirt in his ears. He spends a lot of his time underground. Now snakes usually have a very short tail compared to their long body. But Riddle here, his tail starts about right there. Now these guys are also called glass lizards because they have a kind of crazy defense mechanism. Defense mechanism is something that his body does to keep him safe. If a predator comes up and grabs him by the tail, you know what he can do? He can make his tail fall off. And that's not even the craziest part. His tail will keep wiggling for about 10 to 15 minutes. So the predator will think he got him, and he can go and find a nice safe space to start healing, and he will eventually even grow his tail back. Now these guys come from all over Europe. I have a friend in Wales that says he is pulling them out of his garden all the time. And do you see the deep line up his side? It's called a lateral line. That tells him which way is up and down so he doesn't get dizzy. Because he does a crazy thing called a death roll. Let's see if I can make him do a death roll. Come on, buddy. Tickle him a little bit, and he'll spin around. Oop, there he goes. Awesome. Good boy. This is my friend S'mores. She kind of looks like the color of s'mores. She's a guinea pig. Now, guinea pigs aren't really pigs. Not like oink oink pigs anyway. But when they get real excited, they go wee, 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 wee. Kind of like little pigs. Now, we might call them little pigs because they're kind of like little garbage disposals. They eat all the parts of the fruits and veggies that we don't want to eat. Like, if you like bananas, what do you do with the banana peel? They usually go in the compost or in the garbage. But guess what? Around here, I give her my banana peels. She just loves them. She also loves the outside of oranges, the rind. It's a really nice little treat for her. Even the tops of strawberries, the green part we don't really eat. Now she is an herbivore, so that means she only eats plants. But she's still pretty opportunistic, so pretty much anything she can find, she'll try. Hey girl. And she's kind of a chunky one. Now these guys come from South America. And down in South America, they are prey to just about everything, even humans. So when you first meet a guinea pig, it might be a little shy and be like, oh, please don't eat me. But they're also super, super social animals. So they love attention. Now she lives with her sister, Cookie Dough. Let me show you Cookie Dough. There's Cookie Dough. We love to put females together. These two are sisters, so they're bonded. They've lived together their whole life, and they just love it. In the wild, they would live in big, huge families. We call a group of guinea pigs a stampede. If you know what a stampede is, it's pretty funny to imagine these guys all running around with their little tiny legs. But guess what? They're super, super fast too. This is my friend Valentina. Now Valentina is an African pygmy hedgehog. She's so cute. Her name is Valentina because she was born on Valentine's Day. Now hedgehogs are pretty funny. They have all of these little spines on their back. And when they get scared, they poke them out. And then they kind of do that little, They do kind of hurt when they're sticking up, but when they relax, they lay them down. And they don't hurt so much. It's kind of like, ooh, there they go. It's kind of like petting a bunch of toothpicks. She can even curl right up in a ball. There you go. Because her little belly's so soft, and this way she's all protected. These guys are omnivores as well, but mostly insectivores. She will eat a little fruit now and again, but she really loves mealworms, superworms, hard-boiled eggs. Sometimes we'll bring in boiled, unseasoned chicken for her. She loves chicken. And then she likes strawberries and blueberries once in a while as well. They like it a little bit warmer, so I give her a heat lamp as well. Keep her about 85 degrees all the time because she comes from Africa. I hope you enjoyed my animal friends as much as I do. We are at Preuss Pets in Lansing. It's 1127 North Cedar Street. We'd love to have you guys come visit as soon as it's safe. There's a lot more fun stuff to check out here. Thank you to HC Stark for sponsoring this video and making it possible, and I hope that I'm able to visit you again soon. Thanks so much.